whether to join a delegate or a chair, I would directly step into it. So yeah, always feel encouraged, because every moment that you invest in yourself and you work on yourself will pay off at the end.
Okay.
I go look to credible websites about like actions, about past recommendations, about things I could rely on in order for me to start creating the foundations of my position paper.
I believe in the power of preparations anyway. So especially for first timer, right? I have do the first time of the MUN back then. Now maybe I can make a position paper only in 2-3 hours.
So they're really handling the draft resolution by resolution. They're tackling even the most tiniest detail within each resolution, which is really amazing to see how professional, how intelligent, how empathetic and creative these delegates are. I tell him like, take this step, because this is a life-changing step for your future, for your skills, for your personality, and more specifically, join GM MUN.
That's my goal. Today I have a special guest star coming from Lebanon, very far away, coming to Indonesia. Please welcome, Sir! Hi, Sir. How are you? Everything was good.
How are you? Everything's good so far. Thank you for everything.
That was amazing. Okay, by the way, to give you more context, we just done the first day of the competitions of the GMMUN 21st editions in Jakarta. So it's quite tired, but you can check everything, right? Technically, you still okay? You still have energy?
Yeah. Everything is good so far.
All right. Okay, amazing. Okay, guys. So Sir is actually the chair in the UN Tourism in our 21st editions of GMMUN. Besides that, he has also studied the political science and international affairs in Lebanon's American University. That was very amazing. So, for sure, for this context, maybe Serge, can you please introduce more about yourself so people can know who is actually you, what you have been done today, the impact, and so on and so forth, please.
First of all, I want to thank you for this valuable opportunity. And a quick introduction about me is basically I am currently in my second year of university. I just finished my second year. So I still have a final year, which is next year. And other than that, I have been participating in Model United Nations competitions since I was 14. So I have participated in many national competitions in Lebanon and in the Middle Eastern region, and international competitions, mainly in the southeastern part of Asia. So my hobbies are mainly, I would really like outdoor activities. So I'm active, you can say. And I do a lot of research, like academic research with my professors in the university. So I have like a passion to always learn about new things, seek new opportunities. And of course, by saying opportunities, meaning like international opportunities and getting exposed to the international community, like this opportunity at GM MUN.
That was amazing. By the way, you start on 14, now you were 20.
Now I am 20.
So it's like 7-8 years of the experience. Wow,
Exactly.
That was amazing. So if you can tell me maybe the most prestigious conference or something that you ever achieved, what is that?
Basically, one of the competitions I participated in, I was still a delegate, and I had the responsibility of representing my country on an international stage. So I was the only delegate from Lebanon and the Middle Eastern region. So everyone.
So technically, this is official delegates of Lebanon.
Yeah.
Wow, that was good.
So the ministry itself like appointed me as the sole delegate of Lebanon in this specific competition. So I had like this responsibility to go represent my country, represent the country that I was assigned to in the committee at an international level, exploring new country also, and participating in my first ever international conference. So after
Where is it actually? Where is it?
It was in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, Kuala Lumpur. Okay.
Yeah. So after careful research, after a huge amount of time spending it on preparations, I was able to win the Best Delegate Award.
Wow. Okay.
Which was really rewarding for myself, of course, for the people that trusted in me, and at large for my country and the region as a whole. So it was truly one of the remarkable and memorable experiences I've lived throughout my experience in MUN.
Wow. Okay. So I can say no. the second level of prestigious one, the second level will be checking at GMMUN.
Yeah, of course.
We are the biggest MUN in Indonesia,
Of
bro.
course.
The one and only that created by Puspesdas or the Ministry of Education.
Of course.
You will not find something like that. Okay, but this is your first time in
Yes,
Indonesia.
Yes.
Yeah. What you think about Indonesia? Is that good? What you think?
Yes. So far from what I have seen about Indonesia, I really like the hospitality of the Indonesian people, of you specifically, because I feel like I know you from a lot. So from a lot of time. So yeah, I really like the hospitality. I really like what I have seen right now from the country itself, like the greenery, the green lands, and everything. And most importantly, I'm looking forward from what I have left in Indonesia to explore new things in the country. But so far, everything is amazing. The hospitality, the service, the people themselves are really, really, really nice. And this is what like amazed me at most and gave me like the first impression of the people of this specific country.
Wow. Thank you. To be specific, the hospitality of
Yes.
the GMMUN.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay, so bro, so I believe that you do a lot of things that can you please share to me something that you've learned outside of books, something that maybe school not teach to you, not you will not learn inside of the classroom. So what this will be?
Thank you for this question. So actually, due to my multiple participations in conferences, not only MUN, but also international conferences, I learned that everyone, specifically like the aspiring leaders, should rely on themselves, should always work on themselves to achieve what they truly want in the future, because everything will pay off at the end, for the reason of which everyone should invest in themselves, should work on their personalities, should work on their skills, because they will later see this huge progress and they will thank themselves later on. And there's a saying that I always go by, which is dreams happen twice, once in your head and once in real time. So everything that you're able to dream of, you will be able to achieve it later on in your life. So you have to always climb up the ladder step by step in order to achieve like the highest possible version of yourself.
Oh wow, that was amazing. But don't get it wrong about that. I mean, outside school and inside the school, it must be balanced, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
Amazing. All right. Okay. So the thing is, currently a lot of international programs, right?
Yes.
But somehow, especially for Indonesians, they're not really confident on joining it. They think that, oh, my English not really good. Oh, I think I'm not smart enough. So can you maybe give a motivation or maybe why we should engage in the international program?
Yes, thank you also for this question. So when I first joined MUN, I was, as I have told you earlier, I was 14 years old and I wasn't as good enough of like English level, public speaking skills. I wasn't confident enough. However, I took this step. I had like the willingness, I had the commitment that I want to make something different about myself. And if I hadn't believed in myself back then, I wouldn't be able to achieve what I'm achieving right now. For the reason of which I tell every delegate or every student that is anxious and is not fully sure about joining MUN or not, I tell him like, take this step because this is a life-changing step for your future, for your skills, for your personality, and more specifically, join GM MUN.
That's my bro. All right. Yeah, even though we can say that MUN, I can say it's not for everyone, right?
Yes.
Because something is very politics, very English, not all of us can have it, right? So but you think that, let's say, people that really like to the math compared to, let's say, something that political can join MUN. What do you think about that?
For this specific reason, I would say like when you want to join MUN, of course, a core part of it is discussing political topics and political realities that we are facing later right now in our world. And also, aside from this political perspective of MUN, we also have the skills that this competition gives you. Whether you participate in an international level or a national level, MUN prepares you to be ready to any thing or any barrier or any challenge that you may face later on in your life. Because I want to like give a personal example. Before I joined MUN, I thought like it's all about politics. Indeed, it's all about politics. However, it equips you to be like the human society requires. It equips you to not rely on any person or any human that you see in your day-to-day life. So it tells you how you can survive on your own in a way or another in society, especially specifically where you need to travel, where you need to get exposed to new communities and new cultures. So by doing this specific research while undergoing your preparations for your final conference, you're getting like to know a taste of your own country that you're representing. So you're getting exposed to skills, to cultures all around the world. So I tell to these specific types of delegates, MUN has a huge part of politics and stuff. However, it also equips you to be a good person in society. It equips you with all the skills that you need to survive on your own later on in your life.
Exactly. So the key is the preparation, so everyone can have it right, technically.
Exactly.
So what makes me curious actually?
Yes.
I have like a template of my preparations when I'm like I always start with the research metrics, and then it become the positions paper, and I always make what I call as the motions predictions list. So I technically predict what will happen in moderated caucus. That's my factions. I want to know, what is your factions?
Okay, so mainly my way is kind of similar or a bit different from yours, because when I see the topic, of course, I would need to check that if I'm willing to speak on this topic. I don't know like a lot about it, but if I feel like at the first glance I'm motivated about this topic, I would directly like choose this specific committee and then get this specific topic. After that, I have this excitement in me to always first of all, to go to research about the topic itself, and then relate my topic to the country that I'm representing. Because this is a very essential part. I need to know where my country exactly stands on the topic at hand. After that, I start by drafting like scratch papers of my position paper. I go look to credible websites about like actions, about past recommendations, about things I could rely on in order for me to start creating the foundations of my position paper. And then I would go like the whole position paper process. After that, this is the most exciting part for me, is speech writing. I really love writing my speeches because my creativity comes to its peak when I need to write my speeches. I really like to do this twisting hooks, like good endings, and using these expressions that would make sure that all delegates get attentive while listening to my speeches. And of course, before like 2 to 3 days of the conference, I would try as much as I can to put myself at ease and not to be anxious, in order for me to do like the better performance I can in the conference itself.
All right, okay, that was amazing. So in short, the first step that you want to answer is actually whether or not you get the topic that you want, right?
Yes.
By the way, I give some tips and trick for you guys. So if you want like a search, you want to have a specific topic and the council. One of the tips is apply doing early bird, right? Because most likely doing early bird, we can get our country and council preference, especially in the GM MUN. By the way, I give you a context. So difference with the other MUN, some another MUN is you do a registration first. You have a lot of delegates. At the end, and then after all the delegate is compiling, you send the country allocations like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before. But in the GM MUN, when you apply, as soon as possible, you will get your country allocations. Because again, some like you, I believe in the power of preparations anyway. So especially for first timer, like I have do the first time of the MUN back then. Now maybe I can make a positions paper only in 2-3 hours. But back then I can make it like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right?
I can relate.
You do the same thing, like
I started like the position paper when I started my MUN career. It took around 1 or 2 weeks. Now like 2 hours max. I finished the whole position paper.
Because by the other hand, is experience is our best teacher. Like okay, so this is the thing that also make me curious. If for the delegates, maybe I can understand that, okay, this is one of the biggest MUN in Indonesia. But what make you come to here? When we give you the invitations, okay, search, we want to have you as the board of this here. This is a topic, the council, and so on and so forth. What makes you interested?
One thing that struck the most when I wanted to apply to GM MUN is, first of all, I really was amazed by the posts that you upload on your social media accounts. So at the first glance, I looked up the Instagram account, and then I was amazed by
the Instagram account of GM MUN.
Yes, yes. I was amazed by the testimonials of previous chairs, how they were talking in a very exciting way about the competition itself.
Yeah.
The team, how it's cooperative. The delegates, how like the reactions of delegates when they receive their awards and stuff. So I got a bit familiar with the conference setting itself with the GMMUN itself. And then after that, after I knew about the competition itself,
Yeah.
and I knew how important it is in Indonesia, I thought within myself that I'm also excited about exploring a new country because this is my first time in Indonesia. So yeah, these two factors, the competition firstly, and then the country and the environment itself led me to be like so excited to participate in GMMUN and experiencing what I'm doing today.
Okay, that was it. Okay, so that's your impressions, right?
Yes.
And then when you come here and feel the event itself, the expectation is fulfilled.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
The expectation is fulfilled, and it's basically beyond my expectation level. One
that's
thing I would like to say that I was telling one of the media members previously during the coffee breaks that I have participated in many MUNs during my experience over the whole years, and this is the first time, I'm truly speaking, this is the first time that I see in the coffee breaks, at least, that there is a coffee break station within the classroom itself. This is my first time I see like special photographers for each classroom itself.
Exactly.
So delegates would get like personalized pictures of themselves, you know. So I was really, really, really amazed in the level of professionalism that you have in GMMUN, which made me super exciting to give my full performance for the delegates, for the committee sessions, for the team members, and everyone.
And thank you for that. Yeah, anyway, because we're trying to maintain it's not only the academic experience, which most likely another MUN only focus on that. We still focus on that for sure.
Yes.
You know, how do I give a lot of a new NOP, like a lot of modifications to make it more beginner friendly, like a lot of things. So don't talk it in here, okay? Don't talk it in here. Anyway, but we also maintaining the experience, like you know, the photographer, the photo booth. Even we have two big photo booths. You know, like the first one on the lobby, the second one on the near the ballroom, the lunch experience, and so on. We're taking in every details of it. Even. Maybe the thing is like, for example, we end our sessions tomorrow, by the way, at our closing. It's on 3-4 p.m. Because we also thinking that if we end fast, because tomorrow they will go to school. Right? If we end it on the night, they will be very excited. Which another MUN not do it. Right? Only in the GMMUN, by the way. So join the GMMUN. Alright. Okay. So... But what you think about the delegates? So far you already shared about the facilities, how our team works very well, but what you think about the delegates so far?
So the delegates themselves, specifically in my committee, are really, really, really creative. I was amazed by the level of these delegates that they already have. I was amazed by the preparations level, the binders that they already have within their hands, the speeches that they have already prepared, the hooks that they use in their speeches. So I was amazed by the skills of these delegates. And most importantly, during their participations in the unmoderated caucuses, how creative they are and how eager they are to always make new connections, because they are stepping into the shoes of world leaders. So I think that these delegates that are present in my committee in GMMUN are really taking the responsibility at its full level. So they're really handling the draft resolution by resolution. They're tackling even the most tiniest detail within each resolution, which is really amazing to see how professional, how intelligent, how empathetic and creative these delegates are.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, especially they compete it quite a lot of number of delegates, right? In your council, around 50, 60, around 60, around 60. Right? There's some council that around 100. Imagine how you do a diplomacy, how you do a blocking on that number of... it has that odd challenge, right? Okay, so if I can little bit compare. You already see the Indonesians youth and also the Lebanese youth, right? So what do you think? Is there any similarity or what is the difference? What do you think?
Similarity with any other competition I participated in, you mean?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
The Lebanese, especially the Lebanese and Indonesian. Like for example, let's say you mentioned like our delegates have a lot of hook. Or maybe in the Lebanon style, most likely MUN doesn't have hook, something like that. So what do you think?
multiple things that they are like different from this competition and back at home, like the Lebanese national competitions, is mainly that in my previous competitions, like delegates and even the board of directors and board of diets themselves, they always go by the book, or they always go by the rules in a very strict way. If the rule says like in the GSL only 15 delegates will pass, so we need to apply the rule in a very strict way, 15 delegates only. However, in GMMUN, I was really, really excited about this specific thing, which all of the team and you insisted on us doing, is letting each delegate having the chance to speak.
Exactly.
Because this leaves a huge, huge impact on the delegates themselves, especially that all of us know that the first half or the first committee session of each competition is tense and anxious, and delegates, they feel like strangers in the committee, for the reason of which encouraging, because you told us once we came here, we need to let everyone speak at the beginning at least. So I remarked that all of the delegates were encouraged, and this gave them a huge push to give their full potential in the upcoming committee sessions that had happened today. So this is one difference. Of course, there are many other advantages. However, this is like the golden one that I found, which left a huge impact on the delegates themselves.
Yes, exactly. Because I do a lot of MUN. By the way, I'll do MUN since 2017, so it's like almost 10 years. Like, okay. So from what I say, especially the first timer, the first time doing MUN, they just preparing for 1.5 minute speech, which is for a GSL. Sometimes they don't understand that, I can speak in moderated caucus, I need to raise placard, in unmoderated caucus, I need to mingle with the others. Sometimes they don't understand. So when give chance on the opening speech, which is in the context of GSL, is become the exercise, like like the warming up for them. So the next competitions is they feel more okay, I've been done it well, I will go again, I will go better in the next opportunity. Like, do you agree with that?
Exactly. Of course, I agree with it, because I noticed that these delegates felt more encouraged to participate in other stages of the conference after speaking for the first time. Because, like when they came to the podium and spoke and delivered their speeches for the first time, it kind of broke the ice between the delegate itself and the other audience, which are other delegates and the board of diets. And also one thing I would like to add, which is a huge advantage I found at GMMUN, is how supportive the team is within each classroom. Because I, as a chair, didn't need anything at any time. Because always there are committee members roaming around the room, photographers, the LO coordinators, so even the hotel staff. So I always felt supported, which gave me like a huge push to always be focused on chairing the conference itself. So in other competitions, I always had the responsibility like to handle the caucus list, the speakers list. By the presence of the rapporteur, I felt more at ease, which let me focus on the performances of the delegates themselves.
Hold on. When you're in Lebanon,
yes,
how many DICE member?
So for a 50 delegate committee,
50,
around
only 2.
We only were 2 DICE members.
Oh, okay.
With no rapporteur, with no special photographers, with no committee members inside the classroom. So we had many tasks to follow.
Without committee member, how you do a diplomatic note? The pass note one.
Yes, so there's an assigned
open device.
Yes, there's an assigned usher, but this usher roams around like 3 to 4 rooms. So there was this time where many delegates had to pass notes, and then there was no usher in the room. So we had to wait for the usher to come from the next room, and then the hassle goes on between the delegates.
I see. Yeah, so the mechanism little bit different. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Yeah. And it is actually useful. Like, that's why I do a lot of briefing a lot of time, especially for international checks.
Yes.
To give you context, okay, this is will happen in the context of Indonesians ROP. Yes. And this is what we usually have when you go to the Malaysia event.
Yes.
It's the ROP something quite a bit different, right?
Exactly.
Okay, wait, because we are actually Muners, I want to talk a little bit of politics, okay? Okay.
Yes.
So in the current situations, during the the conflict, the situation that headed in the Middle East, you're technically the one that in there, right? So what is the current conditions right now? Is that what I see in the news is true that a lot of rudals, a lot of rockets, or it's not that actually not that scared, or how is actually?
Yes. So like I want to give it to you from my perspective as a Lebanese citizen living in the Middle Eastern region. So sometimes the Western media, or sometimes the media that is present in countries that are far from the region itself, they see like the specific actions that are happening, like the war itself, they project it to their citizens in a very exaggerated way. Because as a citizen in Lebanon, of course, there are many difficulties and many challenges that we're facing, like the huge increase in prices and gas prices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bro, especially Indonesia, bro. But okay.
Yes. So, of course, there are the challenges and the prices. However, I continued living my life in a very normal way. Of course, I was affected in a way or another. Like the flights were rescheduled many times. I was
expensive, right?
It became a lot of expensive. However, it's not the same as the Western media or the foreign media projected.
Oh, I see.
So, for example, when they say like a specific party bombarded a whole region in Lebanon. So Western readers or like foreign readers, they would read and say, oh, no, this is very, very, very devastating. However, us Lebanese citizens, we see it like it's not the whole region. Maybe it's a specific apartment,
specific area
within a specific building, you know?
Right.
So it's way more exaggerated than the actual situation is, which really disappoints me in a way or another, you know?
Okay, I see. But the flight that you say is actually easy or not to go to Indonesia?
To go to Indonesia, it was normal. Fortunately, I was lucky enough.
Yeah,
I was lucky enough to come on time with everything. So yeah, this also helped me when I first came to the hotel. It helped me like feel more at ease, feel more ready, because I hadn't like the chance to deal with flights cancellations or flights rescheduling. So everything was on time, and my preparations also were on time. And yeah, I was able to feel very at ease once I arrived.
Okay, now to connect about that.
Yes.
So from what I get is actually Western media thinking just share that, oh, this is a very chaotic situation, and so on and so forth. Right. So the thing in the context of MUN, let's say there is a topic about that. So I represent the country. For sure, I'll search the research on the internet, right? Most likely, I will learn in Western media.
Exactly.
But the thing is, like what you say, as the Lebanese citizens, it's not that bad actually. So now my question is, how we can represent our country accurately by how's the research, so we can make sure that okay, we represent it correctly, accurately, and the matters of the research context, it will be fit. What do you think?
Exactly. So for this specific question, I would tell delegates to really step in the shoes of real world leaders. They really need to take on the full character of an MUN diplomat. So let's say if you were representing your own country, let's say in my case, if I'm representing Lebanon, I should really wear the responsibility that I am the official representative of Lebanon in this specific competition, because they need to think of each MUN, although it is a simulation, so it's a model of the actual United Nations, they need to think of it that the whole world are relying on them for them to set out real resolutions. So let's say, in my case, my topic is in UN tourism, promoting the inclusivity, like promoting inclusive tourism for marginalized communities. So delegates, they need to wear the responsibility of being diplomats who really need to solve the issue at hand. They really need to think that after the conference ends, after they finish writing the draft resolutions, these resolutions will be implemented in real life. So they really need to link their MUN conference to the real life itself. Because when they do so, their performance would get better, their recommendations would get better, which will lead to the overall great performance of the conference itself. So they really need to put themselves in the shoes of real world leaders and try to make a really good impact on the topic they are debating upon.
Exactly. So that's the thing that also most of the delegates also forget. The solutions is most likely will be implemented by the UN. We must imagine something like that, right? And most of the delegates just think, okay, I need to have a fancy solution with a fancy name,
sponsor and stuff.
I think it's not the important thing. The most important thing is what is your solution and realistic, feasible or not.
Exactly. And also one thing I would like to add, I have found it like a very good advantage of GMMUN is that delegates, not all of them, like in some other competitions I have participated in, many of the delegates, they prioritize winning an award, but they do not focus on the conference itself. They do not focus on the topic, how to solve it, how to really solve it in real life, how to really make a change and leave a huge impact on the delegates themselves within the committee sessions. For the reason of which, when I participated right now in the first day of GMMUN, I really noticed that many delegates, they don't care. Of course, this is an essential part of winning an award, but they also care about setting out real life resolutions, setting out concrete ideas, focusing on the intricate details behind every resolution, which I was really amazed of. And yeah, this is very good for the delegates themselves, because as we all know, it's not always about winning an award. It's always about having this experience like impacted you in a way or another. And of course, leaving this competition and applying the skills that you acquired during the competition in your everyday life.
All right. That was amazing. Okay, Serge, we already talked so long. So will be the end.
Yes.
Can you please share a message, especially for the people that want to join MUN, or maybe they're scared, they're afraid, my English is not good, and so on and so forth. Can you please share your talk and your message to them, please?
Yes. So a final notice to these delegates, I would say that I would repeat the quote that I have mentioned previously in one of my answers, which is remember that achievements happen twice, once in your head and once in real time. So always believe in yourself. Always work on yourself. Always invest in yourself, because in society and later on in your life, you got no one but yourself. No one understands what you're truly living. No one understands what you're truly passing through in your life. So you have to always get yourself progressively moving on. So this is your chance in MUN to always believe in your preparations, because these preparations will pay off at the end. Whether you have won an award or not, whether your English is good or not, you will at least have one thing that has changed in you. And then if you liked one competition in MUN, it will become very addictive.
Exactly.
So when I first joined my first competition, I said to myself that this is the last one. And then this was like in 2021.
Yeah.
And now in 2026, every opportunity that comes like in front of me, whether to join a delegate or a chair, I would directly step into it. So yeah, always feel encouraged, because every moment that you invest in yourself and you work on yourself will pay off at the end.
Wish we can meet again, maybe the next edition of GMMUN. Let's see later on.
Of course.
So, guys, to recap all of the things that Serge already said, in short, one thing that Serge mentioned that I summarized with the Globy quote: you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I'm waiting you to join MUN. Bye-bye. See you.
Bye.